and I'm here on my geography backyard video location. I'm gonna be talking about the types of weathering and also the components of a stream, so stay tuned. Alright, so we found another ephemeral stream, but this one is way more larger than the last one. They are both the same, they have the same processes. Now, there's three types of main streams: the ephemeral stream, the perennial stream, and the intermittent stream. But for now, let's learn what is a stream. A stream is just literally water flowing downhill. For example, gravity will always put things down to the ground. So the water is gonna be always on high elevation to lower elevation. The water wants to get the water from point A to point B. Okay, so that's a stream. Now, the stream that we are standing right now, it's an ephemeral stream. An ephemeral stream only happens when there's rainy days of water. So when it rains, all of this stream right now is empty because in the past days it haven't rained any water. But eventually, when we will have rainy days, all of this stream will have plenty of water. This type of streams will evaporate the water once it stops raining. Now, a perennial stream, it usually occurs on humid areas. So these streams are permanent. For example, they can take water and they can be all year long with water. An example of a perennial stream is the Mississippi River. The perennial streams are great for transporting goods. And lastly, the intermittent streams are a season stream. So basically, this type of stream we only have water on the rainy seasons, but on the dry seasons it will be dry, completely dry, like the one that we're standing right now. So when there's the humid seasons, when it rains a lot, all of the stream will have plenty of water. But when the dry season comes, it will make the stream go empty again, and it's basically the same process over and over again. Those don't change. Have you ever wondered how do streams have different types of rock? Well, that's thanks to a process known as siltation. What siltation does, it basically carries the water. The water basically carries the rocks. So when the stream has plenty of water, it will carry the rock over and over and over, bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, and they will hit each other like a hammer. Eventually, they will break apart and they will create this type of pebbles. For example, this rock right here was probably on the other side, like over there, but the time passed and that rock probably moved around, and when it moves, it hits another rocks, and then they will create this type of rock, a more softer than the typical rocks like this one. For example, this one was underground. When these rocks are underground, they still don't develop siltation process. So they will develop siltation when the water comes, and it will move them, and they will bounce and bounce thousands of times, and they will hit each other, and they will create this sort of this sort of rock. As you can see, this one is like oval, and it's like way more soft than this one. This one is way more rougher, and this one is way more softer, and it's way different in shape. So that's thanks to a process known as siltation. Learn about weathering. What is weathering? Weathering is breaking down and changing of rocks. This is a result of a different type of environment. For example, when the rocks are exposed to different types of environment like wind, or even those like water or ice, these are factors that will break down the rock from larger sizes to medium sizes and smaller sizes, also known as sediments. But the three main types of weathering are chemical weathering, biological weathering, or also known as biotic weathering, and also physical weathering, or known as mechanical weathering. For example, mechanical weathering occurs when water fills the rock, and eventually when it's so cold, it freezes the water, and it will expand the rock to the point that it will break it. That's known as mechanical weathering. Or another example of mechanical weathering, it's me grabbing this rock and hitting it to the point where I create this type of, as you can see, I just broke the rock. This process is known as mechanical weathering. Another example of chemical weathering. Chemical weathering takes place when the minerals inside the rock go through different types of changes. For example, this can cause water, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and various acids. For example, a rock exposed to iron will soften the rock, and it will be more easy to break. Now, an example of biotic weathering, these are just made by living things. For example, a bunny or a tree, or any type of animal that will interact with, for example, a rock. So those are the three main types of weathering. Alright, so here we are on our new different location where we found a huge rock right here, where it has the perfect example of carbiotic weathering. So as you can see, all these little holes on this rock were made by the carbiotic acid. The carbiotic acid is made by the CO2 emerging the weather of the hemisphere to the point where it remains on the rock, and eventually it will create these little holes. As you can see, it doesn't need to be on a huge rock. This can happen on any size. For example, right over there, there's a smaller one, but it has the same process as this one. So as you can see, it has the same little holes as this one, but they both have the same process of carbiotic acid. Alright guys, so I just found a rock that has a chemical weathering. As you can see, it has a different different colorway than other rocks. But yeah, typically these rocks are way more different of color, like orange color, like this happens over oxidation. Here's another one, and also this one and that one. Alright, so here we are on another ephemeral stream. Now this one is a little more different, because this one is way smaller, but basically it's the same thing. It's an ephemeral stream. So if you can see this, you can kind of see the stream going like curving. When you see a stream like curving, that means that it's a meander. A meander is just a curve of a stream. For example, this one this type of stream is going like this type of way, and when it's curving on the right side of the curve, the water will always run way more faster than the left side. On the left side of the curve, that's where it has the position, and on the right side of the stream, like you can see over here, that's when it creates erosion. As you can see, all this dirt right here, when the water comes, when the farmer stream has a lot of water, it will circulate the water all the way to this side and the meander. So as the meander curves, it will create erosion, and when erosion creates, it will widen the stream. As you can see, that over there, it's pretty damn big. It's widening the stream, and eventually over time this stream will be way more larger than its normal size. Now if we go to this side, we can see two examples, one of a nick point and the other one of down cutting process. This nick point right here occurs when the water comes from the stream channels, and they will bring any type of erosion you can imagine, like small rocks to larger rocks. It doesn't matter. When there's a lot of water, water can carry on a lot of things. So all of those things will create a splash erosion. What a splash erosion is, it will make these rocks hit the ground, and this can take over thousands of times to the point where it will eventually break the floor. As you can see, it has some sort of like a step. Look, you can see. So another nick point, it's over there, and they occur pretty much anywhere. Now down over here we have a down cutting process. It's almost the same. A down cutting occurs when the ephemeral stream has a lot of water to the point where it will carry any type of size of rock. It doesn't matter if it's a rock, it can be any type of erosion, to the point where it will carry those rocks, and over time it will create this some sort of like a hammer, and it will hit the ground thousands and thousands of times to eventually deepening the stream. For example, right over there, as you can see, where I throw the rock, down over there, it's like 7 or 8 feet down below. So it's pretty damn deep over there. And that's how streams get deeper. Now, another example I want to mention is that we just found another bicarbonatic acid right in that dark, right in the rock. Alright, so that concludes my geography backyard video. I hope you like it, and as always, stay safe. Peace.